Hiya, it's Stephen Edwards from Gro Profit First Accountants. So I wanted to do this short video just to kind of explain what we do, how our packages work, and how we can help your business moving forward. So you've probably already had a chat with me or someone in the team, or you're about to have a chat, but I thought it'd be easier to do this video just to kind of summarize everything we do and how we work with people. But obviously we will go through your personal circumstances and we can put together a package to suit your needs. But the benefit of me doing it on a video is you can watch it back because it's a recording. You can also fast forward me if you get a bit bored. Okay, so you've more than likely been given some pre-work if you've had a meeting with me or someone in the team. So what happens is you normally have an initial chat with either Sam, Millie, Emily, just to see if there's the potential for us to work together. We then book in for a proper, what we call a PAM call, a proactive accounting meeting call. And we often send you a form across just to learn a little bit more about what's going on in your business. This is an ongoing thing we actually do with our clients. Is we call it the DOS, which is dangers, opportunities and strengths. We want to know what are the constraints, the challenges, the risks, but also the opportunities in your business and the strengths. What can you build upon? It might not always impact exactly what we do, but it makes a huge difference if we understand your business better, what you're trying to achieve, and what your dangers, opportunities and strengths are. So as a business, we strongly believe in the Profit First system. I'm super passionate about the Profit First system. If you've never come across the Profit First system, it's based off a book by Mike McAllowitz on the left-hand side there. We do send that book out for free, so just drop me or the team an email. I'm more than happy to send you a copy if you've never read the book, or we can send you the first 5 chapters on a PDF. I don't think now's the video to talk about the book in super detail, but essentially it resonates at a very deep level with a lot of business owners. As we grow our business, we're not necessarily paying ourselves more. So it puts you first and foremost as the owner. You've probably come across the expression turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. And it's a system that works. And we are trained on that system to basically help increase what you pay yourself and to make you more sustainable, more profitable. We're huge advocates of that system. However, first and foremost, we are accountants. We're qualified accountants. And we want to give you a solid finance backbone, solid finance kind of foundation. And essentially, if you're looking to grow your business, we become more of your finance team, your kind of outsourced finance department. If you're a smaller business, it might sound a bit grand, and we tweak how we support you depending on how big you are. But as you continue on growing, even if you're just starting out, we still want to feel that we're part of your business. We're kind of your finance team. But as you carry on growing, instead of having to pay thousands for different people in your team, an accountant, a purchase ledger person, a credit control person, a CFO, a finance director, a Profit First expert, a finance coach, we put all that together for you in basically a monthly affordable fee, so you don't have to go and find the team. There's no pensions, there's no holidays, you don't need to worry about all that sort of stuff. So really there's 4 main functions in any business. There's the marketing function, which is all about getting customers, getting the right customers in. There's the operations, which is running the business, delivering the service. There's HR, and within the HR, you could have admin, IT, and sort of similar things. And there's finance. So they're really the 4 main broad functions in your business. We are looking to make sure your finance function is super healthy. You've probably heard that 80% of businesses struggle and fail within the first 5 years. And even the businesses that don't kind of close down within the first 5 years are living paycheck to paycheck. And one of the main problems we've seen is a lack of clarity around the finances. Marketing is super important. Getting the work done is super important. But knowing your numbers, understanding your business model, making sensible decisions, cash flow planning, knowing what your tax bill is going to be, having that peace of mind is super, super important. And it's what kind of professional business owners, serious business owners do. They do really well because that's the only way you can kind of grow your business. If you're kind of a smaller business, you're a one-man band, it's all relevant. Even for your business, if it's just you, tax planning, knowing what your VAT bill is, knowing what your corporation tax and your personal tax bill is. It's all super, super important. So it does depend on the business, but typically somewhere within the range of 1 to 4% of your annual revenue is quite a typical amount to expect to invest in the finance function of your business. So it does depend on your particular business, your industry. It depends on how hands-on you are yourself, and how much work you're doing in your own business. If the owner's doing all the bookkeeping, then your percentage might be on the lower side because the owner's super busy doing that thing. If they're outsourcing everything, it might be on the higher side. If they're looking to grow, so what you're looking to do in the future makes a difference, because you might invest in more reporting and more kind of FD level services. But that's the sort of range typically you're looking at as a business. I often talk about this. This is the 3 main ways that we work with you. And, you could call it the GROW system. And this is unique for us. In our views, there's 3 main ways. So number 1 is the finance foundations, and that's the most important thing. If we don't put the right foundations in place, there's no point worrying about profit improvement, which is all the exciting stuff like Profit First, helping you understand your numbers, because we need to make sure the data is accurate, it's up to date. Your bookkeeping's done at least every 2 weeks, if not every single week. There's no surprises, everything's done on time, it's accurate information, there's nothing missing, all your bank accounts are reconciled, all of your invoices are taken care of, your payroll's done on time, your VAT's done on time, you know what your tax bill is. This is the kind of foundations of everything. That's our kind of main job. That's the main job of an accountant. The profit improvement is where Profit First comes in, but also helping you understand your numbers, because the numbers tell you a story, what's going on in your business, and it's trying to understand that story to basically make better decisions. Do we need to stop doing this? Do we need to start doing this? And that's really where we can come in to help you understand your numbers. If we're going to make you more money, or if you're going to make more money in your business, we want to pay the tax man as little as is legally possible. We call this wealth maximization. There's no point making, let's say 50k, 100k, whatever the number is for you in your business, and handing over huge chunks of that money to the tax man if we don't need to. So being proactive on the tax planning is super important. If people have never had a kind of deep tax review for a few years, one of the ways we do that is with a tax diagnostic. It's a super in-depth review where we go through the 32 main ways to save tax to see if there's opportunities. And often those opportunities might be with your family, your shareholding. Can we bring the children into the business? What's your partner situation? Should we be putting more money into a pension? Are we taking advantage of working from home? Are we taking advantage of trivial benefits? There's all these kind of things we can do. But that review is generally every few years. And then it's just keeping on top of your tax situation and having a review once a year. The other thing is having a financial advisor is generally the right thing to do. We're not financial advisors, but we can put you in touch with one. So if you've got all this money in your business, it definitely makes sense to get professional advice to just retain as much income as you can over the long term. So you are more than welcome. I'll put the link if this is coming across to you in an email, or I'll put it at the bottom of the video somewhere, to take our scorecard, and it will just give you a little bit of an idea what you're currently doing in these 3 areas. It's only 9 questions. It probably only take you a couple of minutes, and it give you a little bit of an idea how strong your current setup is in those 3 areas, and that helps inform us what to focus on, what to prioritize in your business. But that's optional. You don't have to take that. We've created a 7-step system to help you sort out the 3 main areas when it comes to your finances. The first 3 are all about the foundation. So it's all about, often when people join us, we want to help them with Profit First. We want to help you make more money, but we can't do that unless we know the data is up to date, we can rely on it, and it's accurate. So the first thing we do is we do a bookkeeping health check, and we run it through our software. The bookkeeping team do a deep review, and we figure out if it's kind of good enough, really, if it's up to the standard it needs to be, because we need to make sure those foundations are strong. If it needs cleaning up, we'll let you know what needs cleaning up, what areas need kind of fixing and tidying up, and then you've got the option of you can do that or we can do that, depending on whatever you agree with us. In some cases, it's fine. There's no cleaning up or no tidying up that's required, but we need to make sure that is the case, because we want to get you to the point where you're doing real-time bookkeeping. You're not waiting to the end of the month, the end of the quarter, to do your bookkeeping. It's up to date, it's real-time. You can click into Xero or QuickBooks, whatever system you're using, which is number 4, and get some basic reports and understand what's going on. Was it a good month? Was it a bad month? Is my labour costs up or down? What my stock levels like? What's my bottom line looking like? If it's a lower month in terms of my profit, why is it a lower month? What happened? Oh yes, I invested in that big new fancy website or that marketing exhibition. Did I get an ROI on that marketing exhibition? So you can see how it helps you ask better questions if you've got up-to-date bookkeeping and you can run some basic reports. That's definitely the starting point. Once we're happy with how up-to-date your data is, depending on how you work with us, so if you're on the Grow package, which is where we help you with Profit First, we will put together a profit plan, and that'll give you a roadmap for the next 12 to 18 months in terms of your numbers, your business, exactly what you should be working towards in terms of putting money aside for tax, what to pay yourself, your profit pot, what to set aside for VAT, what to set aside for your cost of goods sold if you buy products. But we can't do that until we've got you the bookkeeping sort of tidied up. So typically we're looking to do that by the end of the first quarter, start getting you on to number 5. It can be quicker if your bookkeeping's already kind of up to speed, but we need to do it in this order, so we're using the correct figures to give you that profit strategy. And that profit plan, we're going to have a starting point, and then we're going to have something we're working towards for the next 12 months, 18 months, and most people increase their profit and increase their cash by following that plan. However, this is where number 6 comes in. So the Gro Plus package I'm about to talk about in a second is where we hold you a lot more accountable, because we meet with you every single 3 months and we review the numbers. We review it from a profit first perspective, but we also look at your P&L. We basically, it's your time to go through anything that's important in your business. And it kind of builds a closer relationship, so we become more part of your business as opposed to this person who kind of submits things at the end of the year. It's if we're not holding you accountable, you might have someone in your team. You might have a business partner, but you are far more likely to be successful if someone is holding you accountable. I always compare it to going to the gym. Anybody can kind of go to the gym, but have you got the right nutrition plan and workout plan, which is number 5, and have you got a personal trainer who's going to make sure you're putting the effort in? It really comes down to discipline to a large extent, but also making small changes and tweaks and adjustments as you need to. Number 7 is where we come back to the wheel. Here is wealth maximization. So that's where we do the tax planning. Some people we work with, they're not necessarily ready to start working with us straight away, and we do have the option of just doing a one-off tax review for people that are not ready to change accountants. But normally we would do the first 6 steps first, and then we move on to the tax strategy. That is the best order typically to do things. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but once we've shored you up in the first kind of year and we've really got you up to speed on your numbers, it's about the next level in your business. And a lot of these are best practice things that most businesses should be doing, particularly businesses that are looking to grow. Your life number is all about you as the owner. At the end of the day, the business is a vehicle to serve you. We can make up all the numbers, the budgets, the forecasts in the world, but we want to understand what number do you need to do the things you want to do in your life, because that can help us inform your model. Because sometimes we don't need to do what we think we need to do to get to that kind of life number. And then once we understand that, we can do some mapping, some forecasting, and give you something to work towards, and then it kind of moves on from there. The difference between basic financial reporting in this phase and management accounts, it's more in depth, it's more robust, there's a lot more work that goes into it. Not everybody needs that, but if your business is turning over a certain amount, this is something to probably look and move towards. Anyone who's turning over 250k plus should probably have proper management accounts. Below that, basic financial reporting and real-time bookkeeping is usually good enough. We always start with less is more. If you need to add it on in the future, that's a conversation that we can have. Introduce some of the people in the team, depending on how we work with you. So if we're going to be working with you with Profit First, or we're going to be having regular meetings, you will almost certainly be meeting with Richard. He's the most senior accountant in the business, super experienced. He's a far better accountant than me nowadays. So I started the business. I'm the founder. I'm pretty much the strategic person, they call it the visionary in the business, but I'm also the customer champion. I'm available if you ever need to speak to me, but Richard is far better at the numbers and keeping you accountable when it comes to the numbers. I'm more involved in the strategic side of the business, and there's a few other team members. I do need to update some of these pictures. There's actually 11 of us in total, but what I really wanted to get across is we are a team. And the benefit of that is we're not a one-man band or one-man band with me and one other person. So if someone goes on holiday, you're still covered. If someone's sick, you're still covered. But at the same time, we kind of have our clients into small groups of small teams. So we're always going to feel like a small business because that's how we were built. We're built being approachable and having that kind of close relationship with our clients. It does depend on what you need. If you just need your accounts completed at the end of the year, you won't necessarily be meeting us every 3 months, but it's completely up to you in terms of what you're looking for from the relationship with us. So depending what package you're with, this is just a little bit of guidance on some of the things we do. I've talked about the relationships already. We explain the numbers. That's one of our main kind of core values, is we're approachable. We put the person first. Yes, we are your accountant. Yes, we need to do a service and file your account, submit your VAT returns, advise you on the numbers. But we appreciate you're good at what you do. We're good at what we do. And a lot of people have apprehension when it comes to finances. However, we don't mind if you ask us the same thing 100 times. As far as I'm concerned, we're doing our job if you're asking us the questions. You are investing in us to be your accountant, to strengthen up your finances, and we want you to have that confidence, that relationship with us, that you can ask any question. And we don't want to have this kind of suited and booted where we send you the accounts, you just sign off and submit the numbers. We want you to ask questions. We actually encourage it. Long term, these are the percentages with Profit First that we work towards with businesses, but I wouldn't pay too much attention because we create a custom plan for you. This, for some people, this is a moonshot. This is something to aim for later on, but we create a quarter by quarter plan specifically for your business.